Do you wish playing Scandinavian EU4 was more immersive? That the Kalmar Union had more mechanics to reflect its elective and chaotic history? Or that there was more formable tags in the area than just Scandinavia itself? Maybe Denmark being able to fully enforce the Kalmar Union, or Norway seeking the return of the North Sea Empire? And what about the Pagans in the north? Don't you wish they were more represented in the game? If any of these things are true, then you're in the right place. My name is Quagersall, and today we're going to be checking out the Scandinavia Overhaul Mod for EU4. This mod's author, who goes by the name Galvanator on Discord, was contemplating these very same ideas and more when he made this mod. Let's talk about the mod's features. There's a major rework that adds 19 new provinces to the region, including an uncolonized region in the north that can be filled through missions. Speaking of missions, there's also all new mission trees for the three major Scandinavian nations, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. There's also a new Scandinavian national idea set. It's used by the formable tag of Scandinavia along with the two new formable tags of the North Sea Empire and a united Kalmar Union. Each of these three tags also receives a new mission tree as well. Those aren't the only new mission trees though, as the Sapmi, along with the other minor nations of Iceland, Gotland, and Holstein, also receive missions. And there's even more new tags, as both the Danelaw and Kievan Rus are able to be released via missions, and the Grand Confederacy of Elbe is able to be formed by Holstein. Additionally, Galvanator has added the Norse and Suomenusko religions on the map to the north, along with a major rework of Suomenusko itself. On top of all that, there's a new soundtrack, 7 new original pieces composed by Runite Drill, the creator of the themes of the Old World music mod for EU4, which is super popular. I'll put information in the description about that as well. This mod is stacked and feels like it could be an actual dream DLC focused around Scandinavia. We're going to go deeper on all the new stuff in this mod, and I'll put timestamps in the description if you want to jump around or come back to this video to look up specific things about the mod. However, keep in mind, this mod is in active development, and this video is accurate as of version 1.1. For the most up-to-date information, be sure to check out Galvanator's Discord. I'll post a link in the description below. Also, feel free to head over to my Discord if you want to discuss this mod, play EU4 MP, or talk about all kinds of video game stuff. And be sure to like this video and let me know other mods that you'd like me to spotlight in the future. If you're looking to play this mod, just search up Scandinavian Overhaul on the workshop of Steam, or click the link in the description, take you right to it. First up, Denmark. Now Denmark gets several new provinces from the map changes. Splits to Nordjylland, Fyn, Sjælland, and Halland give them 4 new provinces, a lot more province density in this area. Additionally, they've been granted an elective monarchy, not unlike the one that Poland usually gets when they take the Jagiellon from Lithuania. This reflects a historical reality that the Wittelsbachs were elected, and they had only a tenuous grasp on the Kalmar Union. Now, the Kalmar Union is the tag that Denmark is most set up to form. The mission tree for Denmark will eventually have you unite the Kalmar. After integrating Sweden and Norway, working on Bavaria and the Palatinate, and integrating Holstein, you'll eventually be able to unite the Kalmar. And that's not all it does. You can move down in through like the Hansa, which is here, Pomerania is there, Danelaw, if you're not familiar, that's over here. And the mission tree just keeps going. It's got so much in it. Some amazing modifiers like, I don't know, 5% administrative efficiency to the end of the game. Becoming part of the Holy Roman Empire after dealing with the League War. Supplanting the British as the greatest naval power around. It's an amazing mission tree, and it only grows when you form Kalmar. Now, one of the big gates to the mission tree is waiting until 1480, where you can get the Norwegian inheritance. Once you get the Norwegian inheritance, though, you can then inherit Sweden, as long as you've done all of these modifiers that are needed. So now we can unite Kalmar. We're going to get the unification and formalization of the Kalmar Union. So you don't have to do this to finish the mission tree, although you're going to want to because it's going to unlock more. So as you can see, the Kalmar Union uses the Scandinavian flag. It's very similar. It uses the same Scandinavian ideas, which are really good in this mod. But we'll talk about those when we talk about Scandinavia itself. Now the mission tree for Kalmar is even more fleshed out. It's kind of crazy. You can do things like personal union on Poland, really good permanent modifiers, national unrest, diplomatic annexation costs till the end of the game. Oh, here it is. Hungarian affairs. As long as you get involved down here, you're going to get a restoration of union cast spell on them. Then if you can take them over, you're going to get Kings of Hungary. Look at that. If you went through this entire mission tree, you'd basically own everything in Europe besides Lower Italy and Iberia. Like, it's freaking nuts. And you'll probably be the emperor and be able to unite the inside as well. And one of the things that you may have noticed here is that there is a releasable tag of the Danelaw. Now, the Danelaw is released via an event in the mission tree of the Kalmar Union in Denmark. But when that event happens, you can choose to play as them. They've got their own mission tree. It involves eventually conquering all of England, subjugating Scotland, invading into Ireland, taking all of this area. You can take over a large portion of France, which is pretty cool. This is Africa and India kind of stuff. And then over here, try to go get trade networks, conquering up to what became the Hanseatic League areas, Gotland, and then eventually pulling into Amalgador here, which then eventually just gets you permanent claims on all of Russia. So it's kind of nice too, just this mission tree. That could be a really fun campaign. The Danelaw ideas involve being able to raid coasts, which is pretty interesting. Administrative efficiency is really good. National unrest is decent. Heathens is going to be important because you probably have a lot of Christian lands. Idea costs and morale of armies very good. Dev cost minus 10%. Trade efficiency and steering is pretty good. Core creation cost and naval force limit and heavy ship combat ability to try to make you kind of a Britain. Decent idea group, quite a good. Next up is Sweden. Now, first of all, there's a bunch of new provinces in Sweden. Plus, this uncolonized area used to be a single province and it's now 3. So in what was originally Sweden, there's 9 new provinces. Your mission tree will allow you to eventually colonize or recolonize this area. Speaking of the mission tree for Sweden is great. It is just as big as the Kalmar Union one and a lot of fun. I messed around with it a little while. You get all kinds of permanent claims and things like liberation to get Norway out. I thought that was really cool ones. You can form your own Kalmar by taking unions. You eventually get to do things like get involved in the League War like Sweden historically did, intervention in Prussia, in Pomerania, victory of the League, joining the Empire. As you can see, once you go independent of Denmark, things like this become a Restoration Union cast spell on Denmark. Here you get a Restoration Union on Poland. This is a very strong mission tree that will lead you to eventually forming, of course, Scandinavia. Now, as I said, Sweden's main goal is to form Scandinavia. Unless you culture shift or do some other sort of shenanigans, that should be what you're shooting for, and that's what the mission tree is kind of set up to do. But one disadvantage that Scandinavia has that the Kalmar Union didn't have is that you have to wait until Admin Tech 20. Kalmar Union can be formed as soon as you finish it, the requirements for it in the Danish mission tree. Scandinavia, of course, which can be formed by all 3 really, needs Admin Tech 20. One other thing is, I forgot to mention, is Sweden has an elective monarchy, just like Denmark did, just like Sweden did historically at this time frame. So when you do get to Admin Tech 20, or cheat it in like I have here, and you form Scandinavia, unlike, first of all, you lose your elective monarchy. Unlike in the base game, where there is no new mission or new idea set, you keep the Swedish or whomever you formed Scandinavia with idea set. We're going to get a new set of ideas, and it's decent, guys. The Scandinavian ideas involve 2 Diplo reputation, a Diplo relation slot, goods produced, galley combat and cost, morale of armies plus 20%, trade efficiency plus 15%, administrative efficiency plus 5%, national unrest, infantry and artillery fire, a colonist and global settler increase. So this idea set, as you can see, if you look at the 3 idea sets from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, which are the same as in the base game, you'll see that you've picked up the morale of armies from Sweden. You've got the colonist from Norway. You've got some of the good boat stuff from Denmark, and you've got some more diplomatic stuff as well. This is quite a nice idea set, in my opinion. Additionally, you've got your own new mission tree. Now, it's not quite as big, but it is very powerful. And of course, you get all kinds of new stuff. Oh, looky here. We can get shock damage and discipline morale of armies until the end of the game. Trade center increases, all kinds of naval stuff, permanent claims on Britain. And you can just look down here where you get relations and goods produced, trade efficiency, tax, so many permanent things or really big one-time things. There's another permanent thing that's amazing. This is obviously something you'd want to do after you do, say, the Swedish or the Danish or the Norwegian mission tree, so you finish all the good stuff out of those. But obviously you'll probably have most of that done because it'll be admin tech 20, and you can transition into this amazing mission tree and the new idea set. Scandinavia in this would actually be really good late game, when today it's basically just Sweden late game, and if you form them with anyone else, you kind of wish you had formed them with Sweden so you could have the better ideas. So yeah, Scandinavia and the missions and stuff in this mod, I think, are a great improvement. Alright, next up is Norway. Now, Norway's got a couple of new provinces on the map. Again, just split up stuff. Namsos, Glovik, Narvik, those sorts of things, I believe, are split out. I think there's 5 total. And then, of course, Denmark has become uncolonized. You have to colonize that back, but you do that just by increasing this to 10 dev. And then once it's finished, you can keep going down the mission tree here. That'll get you into Greenland and into Canada, and like permanent claims on Canada and explorers and such. And a lot of stuff about the Navy and exploring here. Stuff like permanent ability to raid coasts and get modifiers on your Navy. More modifiers on the Navy. All kinds of good stuff there. Permanent claims on the Isles, and then eventually into Ireland there. Of course, the largest portion of the mission tree has to do with allying with Sweden and then breaking out from Denmark. Religious connections and the Old North faiths have to do with the fact that there's Norse here and there's Suomenusko here. And eventually you're going to deal with which one you want to do. The mission tree kind of makes you want to go down one, because eventually you're going to want to be in the pagan religious group, so that you can get a permanent CB against neighboring heretics and heathens. That's Deus Volt. That's basically the best reason to take religious ideas already given to you in your mission tree. Converting 9 of nations to that faith, and then eventually eliminating, or all but eliminating, Orthodox from the map. Will give you morale of armies and navies, but you can also get morale of armies and discipline, army professionalism for killing off Sweden, and more naval things and national unrest for killing off Denmark. Eventually, though, you will form the North Sea Empire, and as you can see, there's a good bit more to this mission tree that is under that North Sea Empire. Now, once you've followed the mission tree for a while, which will probably take you a good long while, I have obviously cheated it in here, you'll be able to form the North Sea Empire. A new North Sea Empire, 2,000 ducats, nice. So we can either change to the North Sea Empire or just get 50 prestige and legitimacy. I am going to change. North Sea Empire. Nice yellow color, different than the Kalmar Union or Scandinavia. We do use the Jorvik flag, very similar to the Danelaw flag that was under Kalmar. Yes, please. Let's grab the new ideas. We've got Norwegian ideas currently, same as the base game. Yes, please. Scandinavian ideas. So you can see we've got the all 3 formable tags in this area. Get the Scandinavian ideas. And then you'll see that we've got a lot of new missions going on. All the missions from when we were Norway, plus Russian affairs, which gives us Russian claims, recolonizing Kievan Rus, forming them, all kinds of the Second Viking Age, revolutionary Vikings getting raiding coasts again. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. Stronghold of Moscow. Very good. The city of Kiev. Now, Kievan Rus is an interesting one that I do want to show you guys. Now, this requires you to have conquered a massive swath of land, but once you're able to do that, and you are the #1 great power, you can reestablish the Kievan Rus. We can establish them as a client state, or we can just say, no thank you. I'm going to establish them as a client state. Now, obviously, if you're going to release Kievan Rus, you need to make sure you are massive, because they are pretty big, and you're going to keep all your cores. Plus, their idea set is mediocre. National Rest, trade steering, goods produced, tax, missionary strength, tech cost is decent, Gallic combat, morale of armies, national manpower, and diplo reputation. It'd be okay to be them yourself, which you could do, but you'd have to tag into them because you can't do that through that event, and that's the only way to form them. And their mission tree is lackluster. So this is generic with a little bit extra for taking back over your former overlord. But yeah, this is just kind of an Easter egg, Kievan Rus. I don't know if even if you did play a North Sea Empire game, it would make sense for you to release these guys, but it's cool that they're in there. Now, beyond the major 3 countries in Scandinavia, Galvanator has fleshed out a good bit more. Most of all, the Sapmi. Now, you can form these guys or release these guys a couple different ways. The traditional way is to take Novgorod, agitate this area, and release the Sapmi. It's very easily. Sweden also has 3 provinces, so you should be able to release it from them. But additionally, there is an event that can pop up as you're trying to colonize these areas with either Sweden or Norway, or as Denmark over Sweden and Norway, where they will be released. And you can either go to war with them or variously let them go independent, give them some land, and let them go independent, or play them, or even ally them as Denmark and then switch to that tag and play them, which should give you the ability to survive for a while and maybe move in on Novgorod and that sort of thing. The Sapmi are his way of showing off the Suomenusko religion. Now, this religion is in the game. I do not believe it's present in any of the provinces up here in 1444, but if you were to, say, convert a save from CK2 to EU4, and it had the Suomenusko religion in it, it would show up in EU4. It is a basic pagan religion, just with, I think, fort defense or something like that. In this mod, though, he has given it a deity system, much like the Norse or Hindu religions. Norse is another one that is in EU4, but it's just kind of hidden. And you can do it through the country designer to make your own custom nation. But anyways, here's the Suomenusko religion. If you're familiar with any of the deity-like religions, like Hindu, it's the same way. You pick a deity, and then if your ruler dies, you can switch out and go to another one or go back to the same one. But it's a decent set of modifiers, and it's fairly flexible. So it's I wouldn't say it's as strong as, say, like Orthodox, Shinto, Protestant, those sorts of religions, but it's still pretty good. Now, the mission tree for Sapmi is, he describes it as if you are a tryhard and you want to really have a hard campaign, go play the Sapmi. While I understand what he means by the starting position, especially if you release them like this, where they're only one province minor, but this mission tree gets some really good stuff. Eventually, you're going to get permanent claims on most of Scandinavia, the Baltics, Ruthenia. I believe you're going to get stuff on Russia. You're going to get some permanent modifiers like administrative efficiency, core creation, morale of armies, missionary strength. Here's one: marketplace and workshop in every owned province. I know some exploit type people that would gain tens and tens of thousands of ducats from taking this out to the mid to late game and then getting that. Holy crap. There you go. Scandinavia, North Germany, Britain, and the Low Countries. Like, that's a lot of stuff. Eventually, if you went through this mission tree and then filled out all the permanent stuff, you'd have like that, this, and that. I mean, you'd just be all of this. Basically what all these mission trees eventually get you to in this area. Super strong, but limited in the start. A different religion that you've probably never played before. Sapmi might be quite interesting in this mod. Now, there are 3 other tags that Galvanator has expanded upon, starting with Gotland. He's not messed with the idea group, but the mission tree is much better. As you can see, it's a generic plus, but it eventually allows you to reunite Scandinavia and do all sorts of things like become a pirate raiding nation and conquering all kinds of stuff in Scandinavia regions, and getting all these nice little permanent claims, permanent modifiers, those sorts of things that can help you have a fun little campaign as like a... You could also maybe turn these guys Norse and have a Norse Gotland pirate, or maybe even a pirate Scandinavia with piratical ambitions, being able to raid coasts without having to be a pirate republic. That's pretty cool. Similarly, Iceland has a nice mission tree as well. Once you can go independent, you can get permanent claims on all of Britain. Once you can take most of Britain, you can get things into these areas, and you can eventually make landfall and conquer all of that area. Icelandic Destiny will allow you to determine if you want to reform the Kalmar Union, form Scandinavia, or the North Sea Empire, and give you your ability to do all 3 of those things. You can also get the raid coast thing as well, which is super good. Get you permanent claims on all the main guys' capitals, which is pretty interesting, because then you could take those and have raiding outposts, which I love. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then second Viking Age gives you some permanent modifiers. Basically, another guy that you might want to go pirate with, have some fun, and then maybe form a pirate Scandinavia with, as a kind of an alternate, harder route if you think the mod or the game itself is just too easy. And finally, Holstein. Now, Holstein has a generic mission tree in the base game, and this one is a good bit expanded. It's not super big, but it has some amazing stuff. Once you go independent, start conquering things around you, you can form the Confederation of the Elbe, or the Confederacy of the Elbe, the Grand Confederacy of the Elbe. It went by a couple different names. This idea of this union of the area. Try to make a bid for the HRE crown. Try to be like Prussia and have a really nice military. You're going to get an even nicer military. Make a German empire and get claims all over. And then once you want to, you can form Germany. Now, this is the same as the forming Germany decision, which you have here. The difference is you don't have to be admin tech 20, and, well, you do have to be admin tech 17, but you can do it a little bit early. But the cool thing is here that you can still be the emperor of the HRE, and this will rip you out of the HRE, which is quite interesting. And also it ticks off Austria, which is always something we want to do. That's pretty cool. If you do form the Confederation of the Elbe, you get national unrest and core creation, but there is no change to your ideas. So you have to form Germany or Scandinavia or someone, if you want, or maybe Hanover, if you want to change your idea group. all in all, I have to say that I really like this mod. I think it's a great addition to the game. I really wish there was a Scandinavia focused DLC, but of course I also wish there wasn't so many DLCs. I wish they were just unpaid additions to the game. But we can talk about that kind of stuff later. If you are interested in getting this mod, again, all the links are in the description. The music from the mod has been playing in the background of this video this entire time. It's super good. Hopefully I made it loud enough that you could hear me, but not overcoming my voice, but that's all editing crap. So check that out. And the themes of the old world, the guy who made the music from this also makes that really good. Anyways, let me know if there's other mods that you'd like me to look at, and if you'd like me to play. I'm always interested in knowing about some more cool ones, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. How about checking out one of the other videos on the screen? Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more. It really helps out the channel. Comment down below with other videos you'd like to see, or head on over to the Discord. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.